Okay, I want you to close your eyes for a second. Well, maybe don't if you're driving. But if you're safe, just imagine a giant red plastic button. It's sitting right there on a desk in a totally white room. And the button just says reset.
The ultimate fantasy, right.
It really is, isn't it? I feel like we're all walking around with this low-level hum of exhaustion. And it's not just, being tired from work. It's this modern data-saturated fatigue. The emails, the news, the traffic, just the constant demand for your attention. And we have this desperate craving to just smash that button and go back.
Back to zero.
Yeah, back to zero. Back to before all the noise started.
It's the desire for silence. And not just quiet, not just turning off the radio, but like an existential silence, an empty space where nothing is happening and nothing is required of you.
But here's the problem, and this is really why we're doing this deep dive today. Why is it that the harder I try to find that peace, the louder my head gets? I sit down to meditate, I try to quiet my mind, and suddenly my brain is screaming about grocery lists and some awkward conversation I had in like 2004. It feels like the effort to find silence actually creates more noise.
It feels that way because that is exactly what is happening mechanically. You are trying to smooth out ripples in a lake by hitting the water with a flat shovel.
So the intention is good, but the action is just making it worse.
The intention is peace, but the action is violence. We're doing it wrong.
Or backwards.
We're doing it completely backwards.
Okay, that's a pretty cryptic start. We are looking at a fascinating stack of notes and research today centered on this idea, the paradox of silence. And it's heavy stuff. It pulls from evolutionary biology, neuroscience, some pretty intense philosophy about what a human being actually is.
And the headline is basically this: we are looking for peace in a way that is biologically impossible.
So we're going to explore three big ideas. First, why going back to silence is a trap. Second, the, let's say, uncomfortable reality that you and I are essentially biological robots running scripts we didn't write.
I'm ready for the pushback on that one.
Oh, it's coming. And third, we'll get to the solution. How do you live as a prisoner who somehow has the key to the jail but is still chained to the wall?
Let's start with the trap.
You said we're doing it backwards. What does that actually mean?
Well, think about the history of the universe for a moment, or just your own life. What's the direction of travel?
Forward. I get older, the universe expands.
Exactly. From the Big Bang onward, reality is an explosion. It moves from simple to complex, from silence to noise, from, one element to the whole periodic table. Life is a forward momentum engine. It's designed to add, to complicate, to grow.
So when I'm sitting on my couch on a Tuesday night, trying to force my brain to be empty, I'm fighting physics.
You are trying to walk backward into the past. You're trying to unbake the cake to get back to the flour and sugar. The backward fallacy is this idea that if we just strip enough away, we can return to that, primordial silence. But you can't.
Because I'm a complex organism built for survival, not for emptiness.
Yeah.
That's kind of depressing. So silence is impossible.
No, but you can't get there. You can't make it a destination you walk toward. And this brings us to what the research calls the observer paradox.
Okay, this was the part of the research that gave me a headache. It talks about creating the most beautiful wall.
It's a wall of your own making. Let's just play this out. If you say, I want to experience silence, what have you just done?
I've set a goal.
Structurally, you've created a split. You've created you, the observer, and the silence, the thing being observed. As soon as you look for it, you push it away. Because true silence isn't an object. It's the background. It's the context.
Okay, hold on. If I can't look for it, how do I even know it's there? This sounds like one of those riddles that's designed to be unsolvable.
There's an analogy in the material that I think makes this super clear. Can your eye see itself?
I mean, in a mirror, yeah.
No, that's a reflection. Can your eye physically turn around and look at its own lens? Can it see its own optic nerve?
No, of course not. It's the thing that's doing the looking.
Exactly. The eye is the tool of perception. It cannot be the object of perception. You, the real deep down you, are the silence. You are the space where things happen. So when you try to see the silence, it's like the eye straining to see its own pupil. The struggle itself creates the tension, not the peace.
So the eye that's looking for peace is actually the source of the noise.
Precisely. The getter is the disturbance.
This feels like a trap. I can't go back and I can't look for it. I'm stuck with this noisy brain. And this is where we have to pivot to the part I warned you about, the biological robot.
Yes, the fun part.
The research argues that this noisy voice in my head that I call me isn't some mystical soul or special spirit. It's just data.
Of the very large data set,
Yeah.
a collection of memories, traumas, habits, genetic predispositions, cultural programming, all of it accumulated since you were born.
See, I hate that. It feels so cold, so dismissive. I'm not just a hard drive. I make choices. I decided to wear this shirt today. I decided to be kind to my barista. That's not just data running.
Is it, though? Let's talk about the copy-paste experiment. This is a thought experiment from the source material that really challenges that feeling of agency.
Hey, lay it on me.
Okay, imagine we have a scanner, a perfect one. It can map every single neuron, every chemical balance, every memory, every scar in your brain. We copy all of that data, 100% of it, and we paste it into a fresh biological machine, a clone, basically.
Okay, got it.
Would that clone, with your exact data and your exact biology, make different choices than you?
I mean, if the data is exactly the same,
Identical.
then I guess not. It would make the same choices. It would like the same coffee. It would be annoyed by the same loud chewers.
Right. And would it love your children?
Oof.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. Yes. It would have my memories of them, my feelings for them. So it would feel that love.
So the love isn't some mystical force. It's a result of the data. The argument here is that what we call free will is mostly just an algorithm processing input based on past data. You didn't choose to get angry when someone cut you off in traffic. Your survival algorithm detected a threat, checked your past experience database, saw that aggression worked before, and then it executed the honk horn and yell script.
That makes me sound like a passenger in my own body. Like the car is driving itself, and I'm just in the back seat pretending I'm holding the steering wheel.
And that realization can be terrifying. It really hurts the ego. We want to be the captains of our souls. But, and here's the twist, seeing yourself as a biological robot is actually the gateway to compassion.
Compassion. That sounds totally dehumanizing.
They call it mechanical mercy. Think about that guy who cuts you off in traffic.
Okay, my first thought is usually he's a jerk, a bad person.
Right. You make a moral judgment. He's bad. He disrespects me. You take it personally. But what if you look at him as a biological robot?
Okay, so his algorithm is glitching out.
Maybe. Maybe his stress input is at 100%. Maybe his sleep data is critically low. Maybe he grew up in a chaotic environment where driving aggressively was just a survival mechanism. If you see him as a machine running a faulty script, do you hate him?
No. You don't hate a toaster for burning the toast. You just think, this toaster's broken.
Exactly. You stop judging. It becomes input A produced output B. It wasn't personal. And more importantly, you can apply this to yourself.
That's the harder part for sure.
When you feel anxiety or jealousy or rage, instead of thinking, I am a weak person or why am I so broken, you can just observe and say, the robot is processing a threat. The cortisol pump has been activated.
It creates distance. It's not me, it's the mechanism.
Yes, you aren't the broken toaster. You are the one noticing the toast is burning.
Okay, I can see the utility in that. It definitely stops the shame spiral. But here's my issue with this whole philosophy, and I think a lot of listeners might be feeling this too. We can sit here and intellectually say, oh, I'm just a robot, nothing is real, it's all data. But then I get hungry. Or I get a bill in the mail that I can't pay.
The so what factor.
Yeah, the so what. If I'm just a robot, why does it hurt when I pinch myself? The research actually has a character who basically screams this. He says, I understand the concept, but I'm still suffering.
And this is the central conflict, the tension between your spiritual understanding and your biological reality. And the analogy they use here is, well, it's the prisoner with the key.
Okay, paint that picture for us.
Imagine you are in a dark stone cell. You're sitting on the floor. In your hand, you're holding a key. You know intellectually that the door is unlocked. You know the prison is an illusion of the mind. That is your understanding of this robot theory.
So I can just get up and leave.
You try to stand up, but you look down and see that your legs are chained to the wall, thick iron chains. And these chains are your biological instincts, your fear of death, your hunger, your need for social validation, your sex drive.
So I have the key to the door, but I'm literally bolted to the floor.
Yes. And you can't think your way out of the chains. No amount of philosophy makes you not hungry. No amount of realizing it's just data stops the adrenaline spike when a dog chases you.
That feels like a deadlock, like a glitch in the system. I know the truth, but I'm forced to live the lie.
That deadlock is the most important part. The research calls it the peak. It's the moment your brain jams. You try to reconcile I am free with I am trapped, and the computer just crashes.
And that crash is a bad thing.
No, that crash is the silence. The silence doesn't come when you solve the problem. It comes when you realize the problem is unsolvable by the thinking mind. The noise generator finally just gives up.
That is heavy. But we can't just stay crashed. We have to live. We have to go to work on Monday. I can't exactly tell my boss, sorry, I'm in a deadlock between my biological programming and the illusion of self, so I won't be at the strategy meeting.
You probably shouldn't do that now.
So what's the practical move? The research talks about this idea of parallel existence.
This is the solution, and it requires you to reject the very idea of choice.
Explain that. That sounds counterintuitive.
We usually think we have to choose, right? Am I a spiritual person who floats above all the drama? Or am I a stressed out worker bee? The answer is you are both. You have to run 2 tracks simultaneously.
Track 1 and track 2.
Track 1 is absolute truth. This is the part of you that knows it's all data. It knows the self is a construct. It knows that winning lottery or getting fired are just different inputs hitting the system. This track is the empty space. It is never hurt, never stressed.
And track 2.
Track 2 is relative reality. This is the biological robot. This track has to pay the mortgage. It has to protect its kids. It has to avoid getting hit by a bus. The instruction for track 2 is play the game with maximum effort.
So I'm not pretending the game doesn't exist.
Now, that's just spiritual bypassing. You don't ignore the chains. You act as the robot cutting the chains. You struggle. You work. You sweat. But, and here's the key, you hold track 1 at the same time.
Okay, let's ground this. Give me a high-stakes example. Let's say I get fired, I walk into the office, they hand me the cardboard box, and they say, get out.
Okay, let's slow that moment down. Track 2, the robot goes crazy. Your heart rate spikes to 120. Your stomach drops. Your mind starts racing. How will I pay rent? I'm a failure. Everyone is going to laugh at me.
It was very real.
It is real to the robot, and you let the robot do its job. You let the adrenaline sharpen your focus. You update your resume. You call your contacts. You hustle. You don't try to meditate away the urgency. You need that urgency to survive.
Okay, so I'm freaking out, but I'm using the freak out to take action. Where is track 1 in all this?
Track 1 is the part of you watching the freak out. It's the camera recording the scene. It's the silent observer that says, wow, look at the heart rate. Look at the fear response. The organism is under threat. Track 1 knows that you, the consciousness, are not being fired, only the data is changing.
So I'm feeling the fear, but I'm not drowning in it.
You are the container for the fear. You are not the fear itself, and that's what allows you to function. If you're only track 2, you have a panic attack and you freeze. If you're only track 1, you just smile blissfully while your life falls apart. Parallel existence means you are the calm eye of the storm. The storm is raging, that's your life. But the center is absolutely still.
That is a massive shift for, like, a Monday morning. It means I can care about the meeting, I can argue for my project, I can get annoyed at budget cuts, because that's what the robot does. But deep down, I know it's just a game.
Exactly. You play the game with full intensity because you know it is a game. It's the difference between an actor who thinks they're actually dying on stage versus an actor who is giving an Oscar-worthy performance of dying.
Right.
The second actor is focused, intense, maybe even crying real tears, but they know they're going home after the curtain falls.
And we're not the actors.
We are the screen. The movie is playing on us. The movie can be a tragedy, a comedy, a war, or a romance. But the screen... Does the screen bleed when there's a sword fight in the movie? Does the screen get wet when it rains in the movie?
No, it just shows the rain.
That is the empty space. That is the silence you were looking for at the very beginning. You don't find it by stopping the movie. You find it by realizing you are the screen, not the character.
That actually helps. It takes the pressure off. I don't have to fix the robot. I just have to let it run its program.
And have some mechanical mercy when it crashes.
Mechanical mercy. I'm going to use that next time I find myself shouting at the news. So we've gone from trying to force silence to realizing we're programmed for noise, to understanding that we are the space where the noise happens. It's not about escaping life. It's about inhabiting it differently.
It is about inhabiting the paradox, being the prisoner and the key holder at the very same time.
Before we wrap this up, I want to leave the listener with something to chew on, something that's been kind of bothering me since we talked about that copy-paste experiment. If everything we think of as ourselves, our anger, our love, our ambition, is just biological data running on a loop, and if the peace we want is just the screen behind the movie, then who is listening to this deep dive right now?
That is the ultimate question.
Is it the robot, just trying to download a new happiness protocol to help it survive? Or is it the silence, recognizing itself?
I think you'll have to let the listeners decide that one for themselves.
Fair enough. Thanks for diving deep with us. Don't fight the robot today. Just
Yeah.
just watch it work. We'll
Right.
see you next time.